All right, welcome. I am Dr. Toya Davis, and this is Aligned, Liberated, and Abundant. If you're a high achieving woman and you feel like I have done all of the things, I've made the money, I got the title, all of the checks, we've checked them, but you realize that there is still something missing. You're yearning for more. There's more joy, there's more ease, there's more abundance. You're in the right place. Today, I am super excited to welcome Sha Cannon. I am going to let her give her full introduction, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of snippet of why she's here. If you've been following me, you know that we are gearing up for the Aligned, Liberated, and Abundance Conference, which is September 14th. And so for the next few weeks, I will be bringing some of the guest speakers on to talk to you. If you haven't caught the last episode, we talked to Dr. Giovanni Washington, so make sure you check that out. But today we have Shea, and I am going to let her introduce herself because she's great at telling you who she is.
Yes. Yes, I am. Look, I've been great at that since I was 2 years old. You don't tell me, I tell you. All right. So I'm Sha Cannon. I'm an award-winning fractional chief operating officer to an exclusive clientele of 6 and 7 figure CEOs. But I use my superpower to coach solopreneurs to help them to make their first 6 figures in business by making money and creating time freedom. I know that sounds good to you, right? And I do it all with joy, all with joy. Just to go a little further, my freedom looks like living and working my business from anywhere in the world. I started my journey in Belize, lived in Mexico for 3 years before going to Buenos Aires, Argentina for about a year and a half. But now I'm back in my favorite little beach town of Playa del Carmen, Mexico. So I'm living my best life, like 3 blocks away from the Caribbean Sea. So that's who I am.
And, part of the reason that I first met and started working with Shay when I was doing my business, Chi Essence. So if you've been around me for a long time, you know about Chi Essence. It's not dead, it's just resting right now. But I later came into kind of her business world where she does a morning show. So I'm there typically. But what I love, y'all know I am team freedom, right? My whole thing is about creating the life that you want. And that ties itself into liberation. That's how this notion of liberation comes in, right? We literally can't be liberated if we are beholden to ideas, structure, schemas, like all of these things that are not ours. So the freedom is one of the reasons, and her like really living that, teaching that, showing up, that is like her authentic truth, right? Was one of the reasons why I felt really compelled to invite her to be a speaker, and why I continue to show up in her community, right? I am all about people who not just talk the thing, but they're also doing the thing. So thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for
Um,
inviting me.
yes. So I guess let's just start there. How did we even get to the point where that idea and notion of freedom became such a strong linchpin for you, your motivator?
Um, I will tell you, I think that there was this seed of freedom in me when I was younger. I've always been a little rebel, right? So I've always been a I want to do it my way type of person. But what we know is living in society and by societal rules, sometimes you get hung up in what society says you should do, right? So I was bamboozled, Plymouth Rock landed on me. So I started off, wanting to be an entrepreneur with my grandmother, at the helm of my inspiration. And, she even kind of tried to get me started being an entrepreneur. So in middle school, I sold candy, based on her trying to get me started. And I learned some good business lessons selling candy in middle school that still live with me today. Like, don't get high off your own supply type of stuff, right? But my grandmother was also an educator. And so, the script that I was given was that you get educated and you get a great job. And then, when you have that good job, you work it until you retire and then you live the life that you want, right? It's kind of the bill of goods that most of us are sold.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did all of that and I wasn't happy. So I became a paralegal. I was a paralegal for two different, we're going to say, Fortune 100 firms because it's a big firm. So I've only worked for two in my career, and both of them were Fortune 100 firms, huge firms. One in Birmingham, Alabama, which is my hometown, and then one in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Buckhead area. So two big firms. What I understood was I was making the money that was promised, right? And I even in Georgia got the little mini mansion. I'm talking about I had a butler's pantry. You couldn't tell me nothing. I got this house that was supposed to be primed for, get-togethers and hosting and
Mhm,
all the things.
mhm,
I
mhm,
couldn't host nothing because I would go to work and wouldn't even know what time I got off, right? You have your kids having programs and stuff, and when you have a job, you feel
mhm,
guilty. They don't make you feel like you can go to the school and do what you want to do. None of that. So I just had a deep yearning for more freedom. And I didn't understand why the bureaucracy was that we couldn't have it. Because even in corporate America, right? Some of that stuff could happen. They just
mhm,
didn't set it up for it to
mhm,
happen, right?
mhm,
And so
mhm.
I would always buck the system because I was always good at what I did, baby. So, there was some certain things that you can't come and play in my face, as the kids say, because I was good. So it's some things I just wasn't gonna do. So since I don't know what time I'm getting off every day, I'm just gonna be late every day. Yeah, I'm gonna come in with my Starbucks and my Chick-fil-A and check my email and then go to the conference room and eat my breakfast. And yeah, and I still don't have anything that's late for you, so it still really is nothing you can say to me. But it just was not the life that I wanted.
Mhm.
And I kind of got tired of it. I got tired of, ineffective leadership. I got tired of policies that didn't make sense, things that were not structured for you to do your best, regardless of that's what they're paying you to do, right? And so I decided, you know what? Let me go back into my entrepreneurship thing full time. Let me figure out what this looks like for me and what I want it to look like. So I set goals, and that's how we get what we want, right? We
Mhm.
set goals, and then we say, okay, well, what's the plan to get to this goal? What are the resources that I have that I need to execute this plan to get to this goal? And that's kind of what I did. And it was crazy because I gave myself a 3-year time period to,
Mhm.
make the money that I was kind of making in corporate America in my business. And I started doing it within a year. Then I don't know what it is about threes. I think somebody told me that 3 is a number of completion, but I love a 3. But then I gave it another 3 years, to have a location independent business. Did
Mhm.
that within a year. So
Wow.
within 2 years of becoming a full-time entrepreneur, I was already able to live and work from anywhere in the world. Because I didn't even think to do it at first, right? I
Mhm.
was just thinking I can come out of this little mansion and it's just me and my youngest son left, save a little money, I'm saying, pay less in what I'm living. And I'm looking for somewhere, and nowhere I wanted to live was cheaper, I'm saying? And I was just like, what is going on? So I could go back home to Birmingham, Alabama, but who want to do that? And that's when I realized, oh, you actually have done what you came out to do, which is you can work from anywhere. You
Mhm.
love to travel. Let's go. Let's do this digital nomad expat life type of thing. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of how it came about, right? Just me getting back to the roots of the freedom I always wanted and laying that plan out and really focused on that plan and working it out. And so, baby, this life is worth it. Let me tell you, it's as fun as it looks. It is.
And y'all heard her use the word goals and plan, right? There was planning, there was goals, there was execution, and there was achievement, which is why she is the perfect person. She will be talking at the conference on creating a life of fulfillment, aligning your goals with your values for true abundance, right? Because it's one thing to have a goal, reach the goal, like we talked about, particularly as high achieving women, right? We have these things and we're doing it because it's rote. It's what we're conditioned, it's what we're taught to do, and then you achieve it and there's still a void, right? There's still this gaping, like, I am not satisfied, which is how we get caught in the cycle of the what's next,
Yes.
right? And so important here is aligning your goals with those values so that you can have, the life that's happy, or a happy life, both
Oh,
one
oh,
and the same, right? And let me tell you, so y'all know I was in Brazil. Y'all saw the bad recordings of me in Brazil. Um, and I was telling, I was like, I might be here, right? If
mhm.
because it's all of the things, right? And I am about structuring my life so that I can live and do whatever I want whenever I want. And right now I have a job, but we working all of the things out. So you work a lot with, you mentioned solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. What is kind of, when you're working with them, what is your goal? What is the thing that you're trying to help them accomplish?
So, I'll tell you that I want them to grow their business because I want them to be able to fund their freedom,
Mm,
right? But what I understand my true purpose is all the things that people see into me. They see strength, they see fearlessness, you know what I'm saying? They see happiness, they see freedom, all the things they see in me. I want them to understand it's in them. They just have to make different choices, right? They just have to understand they have the power and quit waiting on other people, right? And that's kind of dipping into your
yes.
your purpose, helping people to understand everything you need is within you, right? And my thing is, when you understand that you truly are the captain of the ship and you started moving in a different way, then you understand how the universe is going to meet you where you are to take you where you want to be. So
Yeah.
you may not see it right now, but you're not moving like you're supposed to move right now either, right? So my purpose, what I understood about my purpose is it goes beyond business,
Mhm.
beyond business. So I have to do a lot of like people say time management, but it's really self management, right? Self mastery. I have to do a lot of psychology. Thank God. In college, I got to the 400 level of all those psychology classes because, baby, I am a student of human behavior and I have to bring that stuff in. And so, because I am trusted, because I am straightforward, I'm able to, call BS when I see it and help you to understand, hey, you're gonna have to get out your own way and
Mhm.
no, it's not the man or any other thing. This is you in your own way. Nobody can stop you if you really wanted it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And sometimes
Mhm.
it's hard for us to realize that we don't have the things that we want because clearly we don't want it enough. Because anything you
That
want
part.
enough, you will get it.
That part.
You'll have it. Anything
Yes.
you want enough, you'll get it. I ain't talking about hoping and wishing. I'm talking about if you really have a deep desire and you want it, you're gonna have it. You're
Mhm.
gonna have it.
Yes.
So yeah, so that to me, that's the real purpose behind it. Yes, I want you to have a successful business, and yes, I want the business to fund your lifestyle because there's freedom in that business. But that's not the only way to fund a lifestyle because abundance means it's coming from anywhere. It's limitless, right? But
Yes.
if you are an entrepreneur and you do want a profitable business and you do want it to fund your lifestyle, I want to do that. But let's design this lifestyle that we funded, right? Let's be intentional. Let's
Mhm.
not just have a personal job where now you're working 16-hour days behind a computer, a laptop, and you're not out living any life. You're the worst boss you ever had. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Yes.
yeah, that's the real part of my purpose right there.
Yes. And let me tell you, well, first, side note. So, y'all, I do not send out like, make sure you say this phrase. Make sure I do not do that. But y'all hear the consistency, right? With the people, with the guests. Success does not come when you are true success,
Mhm.
right? There are definitely measures and markers by some people's standard that we may call success. But true success, that thing that gives you joy, that fills you up, that lights you up, does not come when you are bound to something external, right? Or when you're using the marker as something external. It is an internal thing, being true to yourself, being honest with yourself, and finding that. What's really funny though, I became my own worst boss, right? I built a business
Mhm.
and I was beholden to the business.
Yeah.
It was great. We were making money. I made more money in 1 year than I had made in my salary,
Yes.
right? And this was just on some fluke, right? I wasn't trying to do it, which is how I knew I was close to my purpose, right? Because now the stuff had started to roll in, but I was exhausted
Yes.
and I wasn't spending time with my kids. And I had to take a step back and say, if you were creating it,
Yeah.
why are you creating it in a way that you're duplicating another system that you said didn't work? That's
But
crazy.
doing it even worse. Doing it
Right.
even worse.
Right, right. Because yeah. And so that was the moment where I said, if I am going to be an entrepreneur, right? If I am going to build an empire, I get to decide the terms that I build that empire on. And that's when creating this life of freedom showed up for me. So now y'all know if I be like, nope, we're not doing that because too much of my time,
Yes.
that doesn't feel good. I tried that, but I didn't like how that felt, right? And so
Exactly.
I'm not going to continue it because I am first to be true to myself so that I can be true to the people that I am in service to. Right.
I love that. And that's one of the things that people don't understand. sometimes your programming gets in the way, right? And we're only human, and we have to understand we've been programmed, right?
Mhm,
And so
mhm,
what that programming says is, I'm going to do my business, but this is how I know how to work, so I'm going to do it this way,
mhm,
right? When you don't understand that you're trying to buck that system anyway, so you have to stop, again, that word intentional. Be intentional about what you're doing. So the best way to do it is to decide what freedom you want first, right? What is the freedom that you want? Define that first, and now we can build everything else around it, right?
yeah,
Every now and then the business, it requires more of your time, right? Recently, what I've done is I've stopped at 52, will be 53 in October. I think that's my age. I just be out here living this youthful life because black don't crack. But what I have noticed is I can't stay up late anymore.
mm,
Trying to do all that stuff. It affects my health. It affects my energy.
mhm,
So now if I have extra things to do, I get up early and I do it. So I go to bed on time and I get up early and do it. So yes, there's going to be some times where you have to hustle, but you should
mhm,
not have a lifestyle of hustle, right? The hustle should be that rare thing that you do for a finite period of time. It's not supposed to be the way you build stuff. So I'm not team hustle. I'm not team no sleep. I'm team mo sleep. Give me mo sleep. Give me more time with margaritas on the beach. Give me more time on my rooftop by the pool, watching these cruise ships come in, the Cozumel, all the things. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? So
yes,
when you define what you want your life to look like, the thing that you're supposed to be working for, right? Working to have, then you build a business around it. I have so many boundaries. Some people just be looking at me like, I don't even know how to work with you. Well, that just means we probably not supposed to work together, because no, don't be in my inbox on social media. You know what I'm saying? No, I stop. My soft stop is 4 o'clock. You shouldn't expect to hear from me after 4 o'clock.
mhm,
My hard stop, 5 o'clock. I have no talk Friday. You can send whatever you would like around the approved channels of communication.
mhm,
But I'm not answering you on a Friday. It's
mhm.
no talk Friday. That's the day I need to be productive without talking to people, without a meeting, all those things, right? And so we definitely have to figure out what is the life that we want. Now, how do we grow the thing that we want to do that's not just our life, so that it fits into the life? And so that's it. I don't think people think about it that way enough.
Yeah, and I think in this moment somebody's listening to this right now and you need permission to set boundaries. Here's your permission. Set the boundaries, set all of the
Oh,
boundaries, right? People who are offended by your boundaries, like they don't like why are we here? Right? If you're offended by the boundary that I set, you're probably not meant, you're not on my team, right? You are clearly on your team. And the people that I am in community with, the people that I care about being in and nurturing are on my team, right? It is a reciprocal relationship, which means I care about you, you care about me.
You
Shay
know,
knows I
you
will
know the
send her
funny
something.
thing that I heard though, Dr. Toya,
Mm,
or what the funny thing that I experienced is,
mhm,
because I'm so good at boundaries, some people would say, "Oh, you so mean," or "Why won't you do? You could do it." You know what I'm saying? But excuse me, this is mine. The time is mine, and you're asking for it. I don't have to give it, right?
mhm, mhm.
So some people will tell you, especially if you're already a people pleaser, baby, when you start trying to change that life, they're gonna go
Yes,
in on you. But
yes,
you're gonna have to hold it. You're gonna have to hold
yes.
them boundaries, because if you realize that actually, if you don't hold your boundaries, then you don't get the benefit of your own life, and other people are getting the benefit of their life and your life. So where is the life that you wanted to live and all of that? Number one, right? But I also heard Brene Brown once say that people who actually are kind, right, have boundaries. They might not enforce them as hard, but they have boundaries, because having boundaries allows you to show up as your best self.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
If you don't have boundaries, when you show up, you're raggedy, you're short tempered, you're irritable, all those things, because you lack boundaries. So people just running you, right? But
mhm,
if you
mhm.
have boundaries, you are leaving room and you're leaving space to show up as your best self for everything, as your best self for your kids, as your best self in your business, as your best self for your partners, right?
Mhm.
When I was raising my sons, it was so funny because people would call my house and they would be like, "Where are the boys?" And I'd be like, "Oh, they're in there." They'd be like, "I don't hear anything." Baby, let me tell you how you ain't gonna never hear nothing in here. You're not gonna hear nothing. I can't, I don't know what it is about noise and me, but I lose my mind. Do you hear me? Now, and it's not that my boys, because we know boys are loud, they make
Yeah.
strange noises, sounds, all the things. It's not that they in there cowered in the corner, scared to talk. It's because I have boundaries, right? So
Mhm.
what we gonna do is you gonna play outside to a certain time. You're gonna work that energy off, right? You're gonna come in, and what we understand is we don't play all around the house. We play in our room. You know what I'm saying? All those types of things. If I'm on the phone, you don't come all up under me and you talking in the phone, and people don't know if they talking to me or talking to you. We don't do those things.
Right.
Why? So I can show up as my best self for you, show up as my best self for other people. Because let me tell you, my boundary's so good. If I call you and it sounds like your baby on the phone with me, I'm gonna hang up on you and your baby because I don't want to do it. That's not my choice. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Oh gosh. When I was my mom, so people that whole meme thing, right? It is what's
Yeah.
really funny. I'm gonna tell that story. What's really so yesterday I posted it was a meme that was going around and it was like, tell me how you first met me. And then it was like shy, rude, angry, funny, friendly. I don't remember all the categories, but you get the
Yes.
point.
Yes.
Right. And one person on mine, he put um it was shy, but I read it as rude. And I was like, that's interesting, right? And then somebody else was like, you're rude. And I was like, well, I'm from Miami. So there is a natural air, right? In that
But you know
Miami-ness.
what though? What I have understood now, what I understand about my personality is it's not rude, and
Yes,
it's not that I'm being mean. You're not being rude. It's that we're straightforward. And it's that we don't candy coat. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? It's
yes,
that we're not making it, we're not helping you to digest it. We're just giving it to you straight what it is. So
yes,
that's what it is. And people don't like that, especially when you're already saying you're not going to give them what they want. Then you got the nerve to just say it straight out. You ain't trying to add nothing to it. You know what I'm saying? So we are just the type of people that no is a complete sentence, and we'll say no and sit there in the silence, and it's not uncomfortable for us. But because it's uncomfortable for them, they think it's mean or
yes,
that you're rude.
yes,
No, you just want something that I said that you can't have. And that should be okay.
yes. And it is, I just want to honor that part, right? I do a lot of work with people who are trying to shift, like they they can't accept, not that they can't accept, but they've tried to change who they are and how they show up. I've done it, right? Um, from years of people being like, you were like this. And I'm like, but I'm not like that, right? So trying to adjust to
Mhm.
fit into what I perceive myself to be so that it read that way. But just like you said, the reality is I'm not rude, but I don't want to waste your time. So I don't waste time. Like if it can be said in 3 words, why do I need to tell it to you in 20? Right.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until I started on this path of like really being okay with who I am
Mm-hmm.
and doing the work to figure out who that was to now
Yes.
be like, no, I'm absolutely fine with like however you perceive it and receive it, it has everything to do with you. It has
We'll leave it
absolutely
right there.
nothing
Won't even
to do with
explain
me. Yep.
it. Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with me. And I need you to work on that, right? And I have 2 kids. I have 2 daughters, and they are, oh gosh, my oldest daughter is about to be 14 in like 2 days. And then I have an 11-year-old, and people watch me sometimes with them, and I get like because the same way that I teach people, other people to show up as full grown adults, my thing is, I don't want my children to have to unlearn all of the behaviors that I learned. So
Yes.
we start young, right? I don't make them concede because that's your sibling. If she says, no, I don't want to do that, I'm not on the back end. Oh, but that's your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you want to? No, she said she
Yes.
didn't want to,
Yep.
right? And when she
Yep.
wants to, she can. And from her sister's side, you don't get to guilt her because guilt is that thing that we are, particularly as Black women,
Mm-hmm.
guilt is one of those conditions that that has been used
Mm-hmm.
in so many ways to get us to do so many things,
And it
right?
never serves us.
Ever. So
It
I'm like,
never
we gonna
serves
call it
us.
out and
It's
stop it
always
every
taken
single
away.
time.
Mm-hmm. And
So
that's why my no is a complete sentence. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Let somebody
unfazed and
else know.
unmoved.
Mm-mm.
The people in podcast land, I know again, like y'all don't see the visuals, right? But we have whole conversations happening with facials and
Mm-hmm.
and all of the things. So if you want to check us out, you can, or see the program live, you can come to the YouTube channel. It's the same thing, Aligned, Liberated, and Abundant, or you can continue to listen to the hilarity and make up your own visuals for what you
Look,
think
they can
our
hear it in
faces
my
in our homes
tone.
are
They
doing.
hear it in my tone. They know that I'm over here looking like, get somebody else to do it. They know a neck roll go with that.
Exactly. Is there all neck rolls and finger pops? Yep, that's what's happening right now. Cool. So tell people where they can interact with you, different ways and things that you have happening.
So you can follow me on social media. I am Sha Cannon, ShaCannon, everywhere. So at Sha Cannon, COO, everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere that I'm on there, it's that username. Also, if you are an entrepreneur who is struggling to get to your first six figures in business, I invite you to become a part of my free group. So you can go to info. Oh, well, it'd be nice if I put the first part, shacannon.info/group, and join us. The group is hosted on Facebook, and I'm adding some new features for our group members starting just, coming next month in September. So yeah, join the group.
Yes, and I will say, y'all, it is value packed. I am there every morning on her YouTube show, Monday through Thursday, every morning. And when I don't catch it live, I do catch it on the replay. But the amount of information that she gives freely, right, is definitely worth showing up if you were in business, even if you are what you consider to be successful.
Yes.
Right? Because there's always more to learn. There's always things that we can tweak and multiple perspectives, and not even just her, but the people that are part of the community also share value, right? So I definitely encourage you to check her out. Remember, she will be speaking at the Aligned, Liberated, and Abundance Summit, September 14th. All of this information will be in the description, in the show notes. Tell a friend. Let's see. I always forget notes. And then at the end, when I'm done, I'm like, oh, dang, I should have told y'all this. But I think that's all I got. So remember, you are destined to live a life that lights you up from the inside out. So until next time, stay aligned, liberated, and abundant. Peace.